Welcome in. It is the ATB show at the buzzer. Rubber Shoes isn't here, so we're gonna muddle through thanking our friends at AAA Work Trucks because I don't know the whole thing. I know if it's duct taped to the side of your truck, under your truck like a pedestrian, or
in the truck. Don't forget in the truck.
In the truck, yeah. What people don't understand, and you guys are going to love this. So if you don't know, now you do. And if you don't want to hear the story, you're trapped. Or you can shut us off either. Yeah, you do have a choice. Welcome to America.
Keep scrolling. Keep scrolling.
Yeah. So Scotty and Adam and I all work together at a radio station, and we all commandeered the duck foot under the front left tire of the van and State Street Discount.
Yes, that's true.
Yeah, if that doesn't make you want to call your therapist, I don't know what will. So if we ever do, and I say this knowing that Rubber Shoes can't wait for this to happen, we ever do a live remote.
Yes.
AAA Work Trucks, his dear friends, and of course dear friends of the show, he is all over that vehicle.
Oh yeah, we've seen pictures. Haven't we seen pictures of it?
Yeah. And it's like I can only imagine if he's can you imagine being in traffic and he's driving the vehicle and you're wondering like what was in that sandwich? Yeah. And then if you look at it, it's like him in all different like uniforms and like all these different things
too, right? He's
like if you
like he's fixing trucks.
Like if he happens to be in between dealerships and like he stops at Cappy's to get some Sprite, and you're like coming out and you walked around the truck, it looks like is this the Village people? Like what's happening? Like like there's all these different versions of Rubber Shoes dressed in these different uniforms, and he is their God help us model. So. Yeah, our dear friends at AAA Work Trucks deliver you what you're about to endure. And it's all at the atbshow.com. So at the buzzer, we've got Uncle Duke's live from beautiful downtown Maine. Adam, with your new last name, because you are back. I mean, here's the thing. Nobody knows what anybody has anymore, right?
Right.
Like so this could be chlamydia 38 because it's not 19 anymore. We're well past 19. We're on version,
100%.
We're on version 38. Is it the flu? Is it the common cold? I believe
RSV. It could be.
I believe RSV is for more often than not. That's running with our elementary students. I don't think is RSV hitting the adults.
Well, I have elementary school students. So
RSV is hitting the adult population. I didn't realize. I should be more concerned. I have the most gray hair on the show. Tell me more.
No, I don't know. It ran through my whole house. I got it on Friday last week. I was down for the count for two days. Okay. And now I'm just sort of slowly getting back. All this is now is just my voice. I feel fine. But
as far as we know.
Yeah, it's a brutal cold. I think Molly had the flu. Okay. And probably passed it to me, but my immune system is so strong that it wasn't too bad, but she's still dealing with it. She's been dealing with. She was out of school for 3 days last week and didn't play on her basketball team all week. So it's a mess. Everybody's sick though. So
if I were playing my cards right and I was your daughter named Charlotte, I'd be like, I feel like I'm gonna get it just close enough to Christmas that I just get an extended break. Yeah.
She started it.
Oh, Charlotte's already been through it. Oh, okay.
Yeah, like 3 weeks ago she started it. So I'm hoping that it's winding down so that Christmas comes and we've all had it and then it's just gone. So, because I'm the last one to get it.
Are you living are they sliding deli meat under the door like a bad episode of Seinfeld? Like what's happening? Do you have to quarantine for this or what's happening?
I didn't quarantine, but I did sleep in the basement for a couple of days.
I love that Jess is like, thank God, get out of the bedroom. Yeah.
I think she's like, why are you already better? You get back downstairs and you feel worse.
Yeah.
So we have that good give and take. When she was sick, she slept in the basement. So just to try and keep each other as healthy as possible.
Oh. Yeah, Janina most recently had surgery, and we've taken the opportunity because the cats invariably, only two of them. Pickles lives with Frances. She's always following Frances around. Margaret and Jeffrey come into the master bedroom, and they will jump on the bed. The irony is they only come in when I come home, but it's not to be with me. It's just the excuse of me being in the room to annoy her. Janina does not love these two cats. They're the bane of her existence. Yeah, it's really it's entertaining. I'm happy that any other heartbeat in the house annoys her more than I do, right? Yeah, I will feed that, right? Because then she looks at me and like I'm some safe haven. Anyway, so we have like the great wall of pillows because she was like sleeping sitting up a little bit after surgery. And we got the pillow. Yeah. So there's this great wall of pillows, and then me and the 2 cats, and then she's on the other side.
Okay, that's a normal thing even after the surgery, or that's just because of the surgery?
I've kept it up out of self-preservation. I think it's going to extend the marriage. Yeah, we're closing. At this point, yeah.
You got to be coming up on 30 years, right?
Well, no, Carrie, the 4 divided by 3. We just hit 26.
Oh, 26.
We will be 27 in September. Yeah,
a lot closer than I am.
27 in September. So, yeah. It's an interesting dynamic. Anyway,
yes.
Speaking of dynamics, are we going to talk about is there a great wall of pillows between Matt Patricia and Mac Jones? I mean, what do we want to talk about? We want to talk about hockey. Like, there's a few different conversations we can have.
With the Rubber Shoes will cover hockey in the rant and wrap up. Let's be real. We're talking Celtics and Patriots today, right? That's what we're talking about.
Yeah. We can do that. And
all right.
Fire away. Where are we going? Take me somewhere. Take me somewhere. What do we want to talk about, Scotty?
Well, did you guys watch? Let me ask you this. When you turn on Monday Night Football, are you watching like the regular broadcast with Buck and Aikman, or are you watching the Manning cast?
I'm a regular broadcast guy. I got to be honest. I watch Manning cast on like YouTube if there's somebody that I'm interested in watching.
Yeah.
But I like the regular broadcast.
The reason I'm asking is I don't know if you guys saw Adam Vinatieri. Did you see him on?
No, I didn't. No. And Janino,
I have a little light right here that like, let's see if I can turn it up. Like his face looked like this. Like it was like super tight. Like he looked so like someone like I don't know if he had like makeup done right before he just looked terrible.
Man,
just did not look. He was phenomenal. He was a great guest, and he was hilarious. And there's a lot of good Bill Belichick stories being told.
I bet. Yeah. I'll have to go watch that.
Like the Pamela Anderson story. Have you heard about that one?
No.
So Belichick
Stop the presses. Belichick and Pamela Anderson. Do tell.
So Belichick was head coach of the Pro Bowl one year.
Okay.
And apparently, as the coach, you get to bring in one player that isn't nominated. So Belichick brought in a long snapper. And the guy's name is escaping me. It was just, some long snapper, but happened to be dating Pamela Anderson, assuming that Anderson would accompany said long snapper to the Pro Bowl. And Belichick's reasoning was that the players might enjoy this.
That's
I love all of that. Yeah.
He shows up and Belichick walks over to him and was like, where's Pamela? And, the guy's like, oh, she didn't make it down. He's like, that's a shame. Then why have you come down here anyway?
That's amazing.
Yeah, just like totally just ripped on him and stuff like that too. It was amazing. That was just
hysterical.
That's amazing. Hey, Coach, how's your libido? It's day to day. Yep.
Could be better.
That's super calculated. I love that.
Yeah, it was awesome.
That's really
it was
funny.
Amazing. As for Jones, and I think I like the dynamic that they're showing right now. Like I like the fact that Mac Jones is actually pushing back a bit. And showing emotion and not being this robot. And I honestly think Patricia does too. I think Patricia's welcoming that too. Did you notice during the game, and I hadn't seen this really at all this year, when they cut over at one point, Patricia and was over with Jones and Judge and like Zappy and everybody, but he was there going through stuff with Jones on the sideline, which you don't really see. Usually it's just Judge, just Jones, and that's it.
Yep.
And so I think there's been a little bit more give and take. And I mean, as for the shut up part, I think that's just emotions of the game, as Max said after the fact. I think it was just he's not a robot. He is a human. He does get frustrated, and rightfully so. We're all frustrated with the Patriots offense this season.
Yeah.
They had 3 good drives, maybe 4, like 3.5 good drives out of, I don't know, like 12. Which typically isn't going to, do much of, not going to win you many games, but your defense is one of the best in the NFL. So, that's going to help. But
I know Brady, when he was here, at least in the early years, made a living off of screens. And, I know we're going back to that. Belichick loves to do that with guys who are a little bit inexperienced at quarterback. But it was like every goddamn play was a screen. It was every kind of screen you've ever seen on a football field, they did it. And it was like, okay, all right, I get it. That's a good play. You got 8 yards out of it. Fine. Why are we doing this every play? Eventually, a good team, which Arizona is not a good team, is going to figure out that you're doing a screen every time, and they're going to stop it every single time.
Yeah.
I did like the fact that we threw the ball a little bit more. We threw the ball downfield a little bit more when we weren't throwing screens, but it's still just like a slog as opposed to letting him air it out. I mean, what is the harm in letting this guy air it out? He's got an accurate arm. It's not the biggest cannon in the world, but it's accurate. When he throws the ball, it's pretty accurate.
I think it's the offensive line is their bigger concern. I don't even know if it's Jones. I think it's because I think you're right, Adam. A, he's got an arm. B, he showed last year and most of this year, he does make decent decisions. Like, he's not a terrible decision maker. He's not Brett Favre throwing it across his body, trying to force things in. Yep. I just don't think, their concern is he doesn't have the time to throw the football, which you saw a bunch in that first half. Arizona was bringing a ton of blitz. Right, They were blitzing a lot of guys, especially off the edge, because Trent Brown is, 6'7", hot piece of garbage right now. Like, he is a turnstile. He is just playing his worst football of his career is happening right in front of our eyes. He's played so poorly, and Isaiah Wynn just can't kick this like nagging. I think it's an ankle. And they just can't get healthy in the offensive line. And they just need to get better, especially up front. But, yeah, they did throw the ball a little bit better down the field. I did love when Hunter Henry caught that seam pass. Love seeing the tight end seams again. Henry only had like 3 catches, and he led the team in receiving yards, which was impressive. But this team is going to go as far as the defense can take them at this point. Which I know they're going to be licking their chops against the Raiders. Which I don't know if you guys heard this. Did they not even fly back to Foxborough? They just went right to Vegas.
Yeah, they went right to Vegas. Yeah. They've done that. They've done that before when they've had to cross. When they're
on the West Coast.
Yeah,
he doesn't want to deal with it.
Well, I'm just saying it's Vegas.
Yeah, it might not be the best.
Mess around and get in trouble in Vegas. Yeah. But.
So how much of the offensive line do you blame on these nagging injuries, sporadic nagging injuries, and I know this is going to sound like archaic, but I'm still going to bring it up. Like, was it just not a great translation from Dante Scarnecchia to the next person who was going to take over that role? Like, where's the struggle bus kicking in here? Because remember they called him back and he came back and played, and he's cut the cord now. Like, they can't call his house now. He went out to the street and cut the wire. He doesn't want to hear from Foxborough. Like, he's like, I'm golfing and I'm hanging out with my wife. Yeah, like I'm done here.
I don't know if it's as clean as a one-to-one comparison, but I think it's there, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I think coaching is in football, coaching is an integral part. That's why they have 75 coaches. You know what I mean? Like,
right.
They're coaching how you put the hands up into the shoulder pad. You know what I mean? Like, there's a coach for everything.
Yep.
And I think that there's definitely a part that they're missing one of the greatest offensive line coaches in the history of the NFL.
Yep.
Right? Like, he was, he potentially, I mean, I don't think he'll ever end up at the Hall of Fame, but, he'd been around for a long time, saw a lot of stuff. And there was a lot of knowledge that left. I don't know if it's, again, like I said, it's not really a one-to-one comp, but there is enough there that shows, at least from like the false starts, the holds, all the pre-snap penalties, the illegal shifts, whatever, all these things that are happening, a lot of those mental things that didn't happen, I think that's a huge, him not being there is a huge gap, especially when it comes to that stuff.
Yeah, and when he left last time, the offensive line fell apart, and that was when Brady was here. So it seems like that's a logical, step to make. They got to find somebody else. The guy doesn't want to come back. I mean, they got to find somebody that can do it and make it whole again, because it's a real problem. I mean, they did
a good job with when he first left in 2014. They won the Super Bowl, but that offensive line was way more talented.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like with Solder and Brian Stork and all those guys. Like,
but then they let those guys go, right?
Well, it's a whole different offensive line,
Right.
Compared to 8 years ago. But and then the offensive line coach at the time, and his name is mistaking me, and I've seen his video like 1,000 times. That's what makes you guys great. You're a constant fight. You've seen the 2014. It's just this guy who was he didn't last another year. He was there for one more year, and then they got Scarnecchia back because he just he became like a one-trick pony essentially. But yeah, it definitely needs to get cleaned up. I think they're going to continue to look. I want to say they're going to continue to look in the draft for like a Cole Strange type. You know what I mean? They're going to keep looking to draft offensive linemen. And I will say that this year's draft is turning out pretty well. Obviously, we saw Zappy earlier. You saw Harris and Pierre Strong this past, Monday night. They look pretty good. Like, I love the way that they're running the ball. Because when Ramondre went down, I was like, oh, shit.
Yeah.
To us, like, that's Kyler Murray going down comparatively. You know what I mean? For the Pats. Like, that was a huge deal. But Strong played really well, and then and Harris, they were both running the ball really hard. I thought I was really, really impressed. That shows some of the depth that the Pats do have that nobody thought they did, especially at the running back position.
So if it turns out that there's an opportunity, I know I mentioned this last week, there's an opportunity that they could get Billy O'Brien to come play with us. I wonder how much latitude he'd be given to say, okay, if I'm the OC, I'm going to start to build the people. Like, does he go find the person we need for the offensive line? Is he given that much freedom? Are they?
I think so.
Because I think he would, he was quoted saying last week that right now is not the right time to make a change. And I don't know if the change is Patricia gets to move his number 2 pencil back to the defensive side of the ball or out. I think he'll be retained. I just think he's going to get moved, God willing. And yeah, is there an opportunity like, okay, everybody's under scrutiny at this point. Like, we don't want to hurt any feelings. No, we're going to keep the offensive line coach. I'm not saying that that's the problem. That's a question mark, obviously, because they're not performing great. Because that's just it. That's why they're doing the dink and dunk, because there's only so much time.
Right.
And that's why they're doing these small, efficient passes. It's not about him having a strong arm. To your point, he is accurate. And I love when people say this, like, well, he succeeded on a really successful team. Like he was calling him a passenger of Alabama, right?
Right.
And it's like, well, that same level of talent is attainable in the pros, not the same way. And now it's going to be so similar now at the college level because of the portal and because of name, image, likeness. Like, they can now get paid and move as much as they want. There's no more like, I'm in Alabama, I'm third string, I'm staying here. Everybody's just going to go wherever they want to go. So that we have to grow into that. I mean, at the college level, teams are starting to get it. Prime time has everybody calling him right now. Everybody's going to Colorado, which is ridiculous. But like, if they don't make needed wholesale changes at the Patriots as needed, and I know there's a lot of people that want coach to be gone. I want to ride this thing into the ground. Like, I want him to finish things. I want him to finish things here. I don't think he needs to go. I'd love to see him adapt a little bit. I think he is sticking with people. I think there's a pretty decent layer of nepotism going on, with like everybody in his household works there. That's not cool, Yeah. I love my kids, but they're not coming here to play with me, unless they want to, and they should, right? You know what I mean?
Right,
and obviously his boys want to, and I'm not even questioning whether it's their fault. But like, can we step back and can we say, all right, how do we get you past Shula? How do we get back into the playoffs? And who honestly needs to go?
So I think we have to take 2 steps back, and I'm going to tell you why. One, we still have a chance to get into the playoffs, and it's not even really an outside chance, right? I mean, we win a couple of games,
which is amazing. But yes, keep going.
It's crazy. I mean, 7-6. We beat Vegas. And then who do we have? We have the Dolphins still one more time, and
Bills. Yeah, it's Bills, Dolphins, and Bengals, Bills, Dolphins.
So 8 and 9, I'm going to be right on, baby. I love all of this.
You probably are. Although the Dolphins haven't been that great. They were great for a while. They haven't been that great the last few weeks.
Miami at the end of the season. Have you read that book? Timmy falls in well. Last he goes drinking, Timmy dies. Yeah. Okay, keep going. Yeah.
It is in New England. It is in New England.
That's true.
I don't care.
We have an outside chance of making the playoffs, even a better than outside chance.
So you're telling me there's not a chance, correct,
to get into the playoffs. The second thing is we actually have a remarkable amount of talent for a 7-6 team. If you watch some of our skill, I'm saying like the coaching staff is the problem. Part of the problem. I think Scotty's right. Part of the problem is the offensive line, but at our skill positions, we have some guys that actually I think could be really good. Thornton has shown flashes of being really good, and I know Ramondre Stevenson went down. He's like a back that we can go forward with for quite some time, assuming the injury isn't too bad. So I just think we have skill players. Even Mac Jones, even though I'm down on Mac Jones, I'm not his biggest fan right now.
Mm-hmm.
He's still a quarterback that if we get the rest of the pieces right, he can be right. And I really think it's not necessarily entirely his fault, even though I thought he made some bad decisions earlier on in the season. I think he's cleaned a lot of that up. So it's not like the sky is falling in Foxborough. You know what I mean?
Well, for some fan base, some fans in the fan base, it is because they've been used to this last 21 year run, which is ridiculous. Yeah. It's the greatest run in sports. But the other thing is, is it going to be a huge offseason for Belichick, the GM? Because a couple of off seasons ago, when they did have lots of money to spend, which they will again this offseason, like those skill players, that's another part that I didn't really bring up. So not just the offensive line, but these guys aren't really getting super separation either. You know what I mean? Like they're coming off their receivers aren't getting a ton of separation and getting open for him a lot. I'm super excited about Thornton. I think the kid's going to be a stud. Like I can't wait for for the next couple of years with him, as long as he can stay healthy, because he's like he's a beanpole. But like when a couple of years ago they brought in like the swings and misses were like Jonnu Smith, big swing and a miss. Right, he hasn't worked out. Henry's been decent, but not enough to really, not enough for that whole contract. He had a home run, obviously, with Judon, right?
Yeah.
But there's been other things like that. He just hasn't, Nelson Aguilar, Kendrick Bourne. Bourne's been okay this season. Like he had a good year last year, but like this, the next, he needs to finish the next like 5 games. Peaking. Adams hasn't really worked out. I know he wasn't a part of that offseason run. Nelson Aguilar has been probably out of all of them, between him and Jonnu Smith, the 2 biggest busts though that he brought in. Aguilar's contract ends. Smith still has like 1 or 2 more years left. But,
oh boy.
Yeah, it's one of those things where I agree, Adam. They do need some additional pieces, and it will be interesting to see who's available in the market, because they will have some money to spend this offseason. So it'll be a really, really big offseason.
So have you guys seen I assume you guys read a lot of stuff online, that you've seen the rumors about Brady coming back? Did we talk about this already? I don't know. I can't remember if we talked about it.
I don't put.
I don't think we did a deep dive. Go ahead though. I think I know where you're headed with this.
Well, the theory of the matter is that Brady wants to come back. He loves Kraft. He wants to come back and finish his career here.
Yep.
And Mac Jones can, quote unquote, study under the master for 1 year. The fan base will love it. The other piece of it is that the Celtics and the Bruins are like big stories in the Boston area. So this makes the Patriots a big story again, obviously next year, and people will want to come and watch Brady again. So I don't know if there's any validity to it. I think it's all rumor, obviously, but it wouldn't honestly shock me if he did. I don't know if it's the best thing for the Patriots, but it wouldn't shock me if he came back.
Nothing would shock me. People are talking about, and I think it was because it was the soup du jour. They were talking about the fact that he wants to go back to San Francisco and close it out at home. That could be a possibility, but I think they've got Brock Purdy, and I mean that.
Trey Lance.
Yeah, they got Trey.
Jimmy G even.
Yeah,
he probably won't be there next
I think
year.
there's a lot of people there that I don't know if that necessarily makes sense. I do think because there was a conversation they had on his podcast. They had Sean, help me, from the Saints. The coach.
Oh, Peyton?
Yeah,
Sean Payton?
Sean Payton was on. And the rumor was way back when that he and Peyton that was the discussion that they would go to Miami together. While the head coaching role was getting upended before McDaniels came in. It's McDaniels, right? Mike McDaniels, yes.
Yeah.
It always feels wrong because I feel like Josh, but before Mike came into the picture, that they would go there together. So is there an opportunity for him to land somewhere like that needs a quarterback and a head coach possibly that is a dome, Indianapolis? Right. And I think the missing link for Brady to say yes to New England, because he doesn't have to come back and sign the 1-day contract so everybody falls back in love with him, is that Kraft breaks off a piece of ownership for him.
Oh, wow. I didn't even think about that.
It's more of a legacy play, because that was the other thing. I'll go to Miami. I'll finish in Miami. Palm trees, keep the wife happy. That didn't age well. And also there'd be an ownership piece there as well, because one of the owner that's under scrutiny is a Michigan kid. That was that.
Oh, no kidding.
That was that whole play there. There was going to be some ownership
that.
for him after he hung up the cleats. In 10 more years.
That was a big thing. Like, I guess that they were already at like the negotiating table. And apparently this is obviously just rumor and speculation. And that this was a big reason why him and Giselle split, is that Brady was on the verge or was starting to like talk and commit. This is before he announced he was going to return, to an ownership stake, which is obviously hundreds of millions of dollars, without even ever bringing it to Giselle's attention. He never talked to her about it. They never had a conversation.
Oh, shit.
It. And then,
meanwhile, over at FTX.
Yeah, right?
Yeah, right.
That's a fascinating timeline if you watch that. If you watch when he took the 11-day break, and people are like, that's when he was going home to repair the marriage. No, that's when they were going home to start to get their paperwork ready. I believe now.
Yeah,
right?
I agree.
If you look at the time frame, FTX was imploding, and he went home to talk to her because I think that was a big piece of money. They put a lot of money there.
Yeah.
Well, if Hillary had any money in FTX, that kid's going to disappear. Can we have an honest conversation? He's in the Bahamas hiding behind every available bush. He's going to get Clinton. I mean, I'm going to throw that right there with my 8 and 9.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
That's good.
He disappears for sure. Anyway, so like that whole time frame, but I agree with you, Scotty. Yeah, I think there's which is really funny. The number one thing that divorce happens around is usually finances.
Yep.
And even with all that underwear and Under Armour money, right? Yeah, right? It's unbelievable.
Well, what's crazy, it's so crazy because, obviously we're speculating, but it's not like she's hurting for her own money. I mean, right? I mean, it's like she's probably has more money than he has.
But a marriage of that prominence and with funding of that size, that is a corporation.
Yes.
And they both feel like CEO, SHEO, or whatever you want to call it. Yeah, somebody wasn't talking to somebody like, I'm just going to grab $300 million and I'm going to grab a piece. I'm going to grab a piece of the pork pie down in Miami and see if this is cool. And I don't know what. Yeah, Scotty makes a great point. I think that was a big part of it, obviously. And I think when he decided to come back, she had already said this is going sideways.
Yeah.
And then FTX happened and he came home and she's like, okay, we're not separated anymore. Let's do the paperwork. I mean, I'm writing a children's story in my head. I know that. But in the grand scheme of things, I think for Kraft to make it real, and I don't think Belichick could be against it, because Brady did one thing while he was here the whole time. He did everything, and he was the cover-up that covered all the warts. He has this ability. Like, even in a desperate game a couple of weeks ago, when there was 2 minutes left on the clock, you're like, he's going to do it again.
Yep.
Like, he could be out there with a walker and a colostomy bag, and you're like, just get him the goddamn ball. Like, he's going to figure it out,
That's right.
So for him to come home and cover up all the warts again, get him past Shula, and I think Crafty gives him a piece of the team.
I love that. I hope it happens. I really want that to happen.
If he comes this way, there'll be a piece of ownership in there somewhere.
Yeah. Oh, I didn't even think about that, but that's a good point.
Yep.
It would be pretty awesome to have Brady
which then at that point,
owner of
he
the
gets
Patriots.
he gets to be Belichick's boss, which is just
It all works out really well for Brady. I mean, that's not really that surprising.
It's like Belichick's own personal American Horror Story on FX, right? You're like,
you don't think when Belichick goes ahead and walks off into that sunset lit tunnel, after his last game, he doesn't get like some kind of ownership stake in that at all? You don't think that's going to happen, or some kind of like you don't see him like going upstairs?
I do. I also think maybe when he's done with it all, I think the girl that got away for him is the Giants.
Yeah,
I think he might end up ultimately with the Giants in the end.
I don't know, man. I'd be surprised by that, though.
I would love.
I would be shocked.
Only because of the ownership, where the ownership currently stands compared to where it was. You know what I mean? Yeah. I don't know if it's like
if you go 24% Belichick, 24% Brady, and 52% Jonathan Kraft, fine. Okay, but the stakes probably wouldn't even be that big, but partial ownership for both of them, sure.
I think the other piece of it too is that, and you hear this all the time from players who have played elsewhere and have also played for the Patriots, is that playing for the Patriots is different than the rest of the league. And even being a part owner of the Patriots would be different than being a part owner of other teams. So I think that if that was going to happen for Belichick or Brady or both, I think it happens here. I can't imagine it happens somewhere else. I mean, I know Brady was toying with Miami, but I can't imagine Belichick as much love as he has for the Giants, which makes me want to throw up in my mouth that he has any love for the Giants, but I get it. I just don't see him going there. I think he's too ingrained in the culture of the Patriots, and Robert Kraft is, a good boss for him, and he's liked it. Robert Kraft's gone to the mat for him a number of times, including to bring him to New England. So I think he has some loyalty there. He strikes me as a non-loyal person as far as players go, because he'll dump players no matter what. But I think from a personal standpoint, every story you hear about him is that he's a very loyal guy. So I don't know. I'd be surprised if he went anywhere else, and if he ends up here, I would not be surprised.
What we haven't even brought up, which is so freaking ridiculous, Rupert Murdoch is sitting at a conference table with a $350 million check waiting for him to come be the color guy, right? He's ignoring the fact that he's got waiting for him a 10-year gig in the booth for $350.
Yep.
And he's like,
I'll play one more year.
To do. Yeah, maybe I'm going to go to the Colts. Maybe I'm going to get a taco truck. Like, he can do whatever he wants, and people are like, best tacos ever. They make you more pliable. Yeah,
I would be shocked. I honestly would be shocked if he came back here. I honestly don't. From my heart of hearts, I would say, yeah, it'd be cool to see him come back and things. But from a Patriots football sense, I don't think it would make any sense for this team. I think it would take the team and take them a step backwards, only because I think if you are going to if Mac Jones is your guy, and then he has to be your guy, even if he's not. I understand learning under Brady would be great, but that's if Brady was here when you drafted him, right? And I just don't think bringing in Brady to Mac started for the last 2 seasons, and all of a sudden you're going to sit him down. I just don't know how well that would play, especially how vocal Mac has already been about the play calling and stuff, and he's starting to feel more comfortable, I think, in the area to kind of vocalize his frustrations and things. I think it would make things very interesting, and honestly, it would be a kind of a media circus.
Oh, totally.
It would just be kind of a goddamn nightmare, but I don't know. We'll see.
If he goes to another team, he starts to Brett Favre himself. And I know people get mad. I know people get upset when because I am from a legacy standpoint, if he comes back to New England, his little residency, it's like a bad DJ at a bad club. His little residency down in Tampa will turn into the Mandela effect.
Yes.
You'd be like, did he play for the Bucs? Are you sure? People will be looking it up in 40 years, right? Because if he comes back and that's the other bookend, that shitty little pamphlet in Tampa won't be even a chapter in his book mentally for us up here. He went down there, won one. Who cares? You're trying to rationalize getting back with your ex-wife, right? Right. And she's got 6 kids with the guy she married in between. You're like, did it really happen? Yeah, they're running around all over the place. It happened. Yeah, So I would love to see him do that. So he's not coming back to sign the 1-day contract. Would he even do that? I do think, in the grand scheme of things, he is, and I'm probably wrong, I feel as if he is concerned about his legacy and his story.
Oh, 100%.
And how this looks when he's up there putting the gold jacket on. Who puts the gold jacket on him?
Bruce Arians, of course.
No, it's Crafty. I think it's Crafty.
It's got to be Kraft.
You think it'll be Jack?
It's going to be Jack. 100%. 1,000%. It's going to be his kid.
Oh, I love that.
Yep. 1,000%.
Oh, write that. Somebody scribble that. Rubber Shoes is etching that right now. Yeah. He's on the top rung of a ladder getting a cat out of a tree. He's like, wait a minute, write this down. Yeah. Jack puts on the jacket. I'm gonna
made a prediction.
If he's available for comment, and I hope he is, I say it's Bobby Kraft. Yeah, I'm voting Bobby Kraft. It is not Belichick.
I don't have a prediction, but maybe it's Adam Vinatieri.
Or it's Mickelson, and he struggles pretending he can't get it on him because he loves to do that at the Masters, right? Make the guy look like an asshole. Yeah. Was it Mickelson did that? Didn't Mickelson do that to somebody? Yes. Right?
Yeah.
He's trying to put the jacket on like an idiot. Yeah.
You know the Spieth? I think he did the Spieth.
Oh, boy.
I don't know if it was Spieth or someone like that, but.
All right, we almost have to go lightning round because we got to talk about the fact that Zambo is gone. We got to. Holy mother!
Let's do a quick.
Oh yeah, I forgot. We didn't even get a chance to talk about that last week.
Quick pick on this weekend. Okay.
Yeah. So right now, actually, it's even. Vegas is saying even over and under is 44.5, but it's a pick 'em. So real quick, I'd say I'm going to say Pats 28 and Raiders 17.
Okay.
Very similar to last week.
All right. I'm 24-21 Pats.
This is my 8, right? So I got.
Yeah, this is your chance to get your 8th win. Yeah.
Can't imagine that they're gonna. 31-28 Patriots.
All right.
Yeah,
All right. I like
the Raiders have to score. Like the Raiders
have we put up 30 points at all this season? Have we put up 30 points in any game? I don't think we have.
No,
we have.
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh, against the Browns, right? Is it against the Browns? Scotty's pulling it up.
We did 29 against Detroit, 38 against the Browns, and then those are the only two.
Yeah. So I thought.
Yeah.
So but
31-28. It's gonna be crazy.
All right.
Then after that, we lose 3 straight and we miss the playoffs.
Missed the playoffs by 1. Yep.
Last real thing before we move on is to the speaking of football. I know nobody cares.
We do.
The fantasy playoffs is here.
Oh.
I just want to, for
is anybody paying attention to that? I lost to Rubber Shoes by like point. And by the way, 14 things. We're gonna have a real draft next year, so everybody's happy.
Thank God.
There'll be oh, shut up, you. There'll be a real draft. And we're also, every time I'm looking at the scores, I say to Janina, we got to get in there and get rid of the Dewey Decimal System. It's driving me bananas. I think I lost this week to Rubber Shoes 134.6 to 134.5.
Oh, no.
Yeah. I went out to the driveway. Jeffrey the cat got in and backed over me a few times. Like, honest to really, what is happening in America?
Oh, my God.
Yeah, not great. So
Scotty, what
131.9 to 134.7. That's rough. That is rough.
Was it 134.9, 134.7?
Yep.
Yeah, I wasn't making it up. I was pretty close. Yeah, by point two.
Scotty's excited about the. You both should be excited about the playoffs, though. You're both in good shape. 10-4, right, Tim? You're Stratford.
The number 1
Clouds.
seed. Yeah.
Strafftown Clouds. I think
I got the 1 seed. Billy got the 2. Timmy got the 3.
I get my money back, right?
The wife got the 4, and then Aiden got 5, and then Steph got 6. So Amy's playing against Bubba 4 versus 5, and then Timmy, you're playing against Steph this week. Billy and I have a bye.
Oh, I'm gonna get knocked out by Mother Shoes. Honest to God, I'll never hear the end of it.
Rubber Shoes doesn't care about this league, so you can pretend like it didn't happen if you lose. He doesn't care.
You'll love, speaking of all the times that I haven't taken Rubber Shoes to Kowloon based on that baseball bet, foreshadowing that we're going to talk about Zambo in a second. I took my team here at the office. One of them apparently was there years ago. The other 2 had never been. We went to Kowloon last night for our department holiday festival. And nice. I'm freaking out, right? Because it's like Allison apparently had been there before. She just sort of remembered, pseudo remembered. Zoe never, and Melissa never. And rave reviews. We got 9 2s and 9 2s and 9 3s out of 10. Everybody was.
How many Mai Tais were consumed?
So good news is Melissa does not imbibe. So Melissa was yes. I put in the liner notes when I sent out the invite. I'm like, we love you and you're driving. I think collectively there were 10 consumed at the table.
Oh, that's not bad for 3 people. 10 consumed for 3 people. That's not bad.
Yeah, they go down so easily. Yeah,
of course they
go down so easily. But anyway,
no scorpion bowls though.
Well, I was talking to Jeff, who I work with, and he's like, "So, how'd the girls like it?" I'm like, "Well, it's a pretty good sign when they're like, can we stop at the gift shop on the way out?" And he's like, "The fact that Kowloon has a gift shop." Yeah,
that's awesome.
Yeah, everybody got ears and fried dough. It was great. It's like a trip to Disney. It's adult Disney World. It really is. It's the greatest place on earth, or in Saugus at least.
Isn't it supposed to close at some point? When is it closing?
We get a lot of intel on that. There's a lot of people very concerned about when that is taking place. We are somebody wrote, what's this show about? Hi, Rubber Shoes. How are you? Somebody from his camp.
We'll get to Xander at 6:01.
Somebody from his camp is very worried. The rumor initially was that none of the youngins in the family wanted to take it over. And now that seems to have changed. So there is going to be, it's going to get leveled. And apparently the rumor is there's going to be a 2.0 that gets built, a smaller version, because the other part of the parking lot is going to get a mixed use building.
Okay.
Yeah. So anyway, it's good stuff.
Very interesting.
Yeah.
I think we should skip the Red Sox and go straight to the Celtics. I mean, the Red Sox are just such a debacle that let's be real. It's going to be a mess next season. The Celtics are in good shape. They're they struggled in the last part of this road trip, but they're still in first place in the entire league. So I think we should talk about the Celtics first.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
So if we get a few minutes, we can talk about Xander's contract and how ridiculous it is. But
yeah. I mean, I wouldn't mind making.
I threw in the chat. Danny Ainge was clearly involved in the conversation because we got that close. Unbelievable. Yeah, we can talk. Well, we can because you know what, Rubber Shoes are going to want to talk about that. That is not pressing. Let's talk Celtics for sure.
All right. So I would say I've had the good fortune or misfortune of staying up and watching all three games all the way to the end, even though they started at 10:30. So I'm on a little bit of less sleep than I normally would be. But
what a pleasure last night was, though.
Very happy to stay up last night.
Yes.
I was this close when they were down 13 because they looked so bad when they were down 13.
In trade talks, this close.
I was this close to going to bed last night.
Yeah.
But I was so happy that I stayed. I don't know as much that, I mean, yes, the Celtics turned it around a little bit, but it was also the Lakers imploded. Mm-hmm. I mean, they really did in the end. And they looked tired. They looked old. Even Anthony Davis, when he missed those two free throws and then he missed a 3 in overtime, it was like, I don't know, buddy.
He's
you got to
crazy minutes right now, though. He is.
Yeah.
They don't have anybody else.
Yeah.
And he didn't get any breaks during the fourth quarter. They kept him in the whole fourth quarter. He played a ton of minutes in the third quarter. So, I mean, he did play a lot of minutes, but he just imploded. So did LeBron. LeBron, that shot that he took at the end of regulation was, I mean, I know it was a desperation shot, but it was just,
I thought it was going to be an air
ugly.
ball.
Yeah, it looked like it was going to be an air ball. Yeah.
It was going to be an air ball. I was like, this is amazing.
I'm trying not to overreact to the Golden State loss. I think that, you come out, sometimes you just have a stinker of a game. I think that's just what happened. I know it came at the worst possible time on national TV. Could have been a good, statement game for us, and it didn't happen. But Tatum just didn't have it, and the rest of the team feeds off of him. And when he's not, drawing it, when he's drawing a double team and can't figure out how to get it out of the double team, which is what happened in Golden State. I think their ball movement is terrible. They don't move to the space on the floor and get themselves open. Mm-hmm. The role players weren't knocking down the normal shots that they take. So I think it was like a concerning thing, but not something that anybody should panic about because I think it happens. So,
yeah, I mean, honestly, Tatum didn't look. I honestly thought he was sick, just the way that he played. I thought there was maybe he had like a cold or something like that because like he came out he started hitting it, he wanted to shoot threes, he missed like his first like 3 or 4 shots, but he never looked right. He never looked in rhythm. He never looked set. And he kind of like he just struggled. I mean, I will say this: Jaylen Brown looked amazing. He had a great game. He's had a great road trip. Like he's played. I mean, he had 15 rebounds last night against the Lakers.
I know.
On point, you know what I mean? Like he's been unbelievable all season, and obviously Tatum dropping 44 because I wasn't actually nearly as concerned during the Golden State game as I was during the Clippers game. Clippers game is really they look like just I think that one they looked terrible. They had an opportunity to bounce back after what was a disappointment. I mean people want to spin it any way they want. I think there was some disappointment in the which is it's human nature. This team just beat you in 6 in the NBA championship. You have an opportunity to beat them at least, once, and you don't really show up, and you get the doors blocked, blown off, and then you go against the Clippers, and you just didn't. They didn't look ready to play. Mm-hmm. Last night, I was in the same boat as you when it was like 4.5, I think, left, and they're down by 13 or 15.
Yeah,
and I was like, really, this is what we're doing, and then all of a sudden they kind of rally. And, I was watching Russell Westbrook make, stupid decisions and stuff. And I was like, okay, we have an opportunity. And it was a great comeback. And actually, they came back twice, really. But yeah, it's the NBA. Everyone's going to make a run. It's the same thing with the Lakers. The Celtics were up by like 12 or 13 points at one point as well, if not more. And the Lakers made a run. Obviously, came back and they took the lead. So it's like that in the league. But I'm not concerned with this team by any stretch of the imagination. I still think they're the best team in basketball. They aren't even 100% healthy yet. With still Horford and, still, coming back and obviously Robert Williams who's now playing 5-on-5. He'll be back as well. So I'm not concerned about it. The only concern I do have is how well they're shooting from three. Like during that Golden State game, even the Clippers game, like I know Malcolm Brogdon is second in the NBA in 3-point percentage, but he was taking some really bad shots. It's just bad decisions. Now, some of those were going in like a week or two ago. Are they going to go in all season long? Probably not so much. So just I want to keep an eye on their shot decision, like their shot making. And they did a lot better job, I thought, last night, moving the ball and taking quality shots, taking good, getting good looks and stuff. But I'm not concerned with this team whatsoever. I think they're going to be fine. Also, I just love beating the Lakers. It makes me so happy.
Oh yeah, I mean, if there was a team to beat on the road trip, it's the Lakers, of course.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, Golden State too, but
still for me, even with Golden State, I still have Lakers here in Golden State.
Oh, me too, 100%. Yeah, 100%.
Oh yeah.
Every time we play the Lakers, we got to beat the Lakers. I mean, it doesn't matter who's on the team. It doesn't matter who's on our team. It just doesn't matter. We need to beat them. The only thing that I'll say about the 3-point shooting, and that I'm not questioning the coaching decisions, but why? And maybe you have insight on this, Scotty. But why are we shortening our bench in these games? Because we've got guys who can come in. Pritchard, we got Hauser, we've got even Derek White, who wasn't really making his shots, I guess. So I'll take him off. But those two guys and Grant Williams all can shoot, right? Why do we shorten our bench where we don't bring those guys in? I know they shoot better at home, but they've shown that they can shoot on the road. I just don't get it. I'm in the finals. Maybe I get it. You trust certain guys over other guys, but it's the regular season. Why are we shortening our bench that way? I don't understand it.
It's a great question. I mean, like early in the year, you saw like someone like Hauser was getting, 20 minutes a game, 25 minutes a game. He only got 10 minutes last night. You know what I mean?
Right.
I don't know why Mazzulla's doing that. Like he left the starters in against the Clippers, right? The other night to kind of send a message, I think. And Brown was, came out in the media and said that he liked it. I like, that's what, he was trying to tell us, hey, we're not playing like us, it wasn't really necessarily punishment, but I think it depends on the game for whatever reason. If he's feeling the flow of the game, they need these starters in to kind of either keep the flow or to, to push it a little bit more. That's what he's been doing. And so they're only playing like 9 deep right now. Now, obviously, again, Horford and Williams being out, that's going to change when they do come back. You'll see 10, 11 deep. With, Luke Cornett will probably lose some minutes, but who, by the way, I friggin' love. I also love
he's
Blake
great.
Like him and Griffin have just been awesome since they've come back or come in and played really, really well. But I don't really know why, like Pritchard. I mean, it's tough to get Pritchard in because you're going to take away from White, Smart, Brogdon. And those three are, and I guess Brown as well, because he's been playing a lot of the two. So you're taking away those minutes, and that's going to be really hard to justify to bring in Peyton Pritchard, who has barely seen the court this year.
Yeah, but with Smart, right? I love Smart. Obviously, I'm a huge Marcus Smart fan, but there are nights where he comes out and you see he just does not have it against I think it was the Clippers. I can't remember if it was the Clippers or the Lakers, but I'm pretty sure it was the Clippers. He front rimmed every shot he took. Every one. It didn't matter if it was 10 feet from the basket or if it was a 3-pointer. It did not matter. He front rimmed everything. And you just know the guy doesn't have it. So why wouldn't you, when you're trying, they weren't that far. They didn't get blown out by the Clippers until the end, right? They were within striking distance for a lot of that game. Wouldn't you bring in a guy like Pritchard, see if he can knock down a couple of shots? He's not.
At least give you a spark. You know what I mean? Like someone to give you a spark that can get some. Yeah. No, I agree. I don't know why he's not utilizing the bench as much. And honestly, like I know he was the assistant and he's been around for the last couple of years, and I get that. I don't know if it's a trust thing. I don't. You know what I mean? Like if he's not seeing it in practice, Maybe he's not seeing, what he wants to see. I honestly, I can't really answer, because to me, there's no really rhyme or reason.
Right.
And especially when you push your guys to 43, 42, minutes on a nightly basis, they are going to break down. Granted, these guys are still super young, but Smart played 42 minutes last night. You know what I mean? Like that's a lot of minutes. You could have spelled him for an additional 5 and you got Pritchard in there. Or even put Hauser in for another 5. He only played 10. Give him you know what I mean? And get, Jaylen Brown a little bit more rest. I don't know. There's no real, there's no logic here that I can sit there and this is probably the reason why, outside of just maybe not having trust right now. Because you have Jackson on the bench that can shoot, obviously Pritchard, a few others that, I think could step in and help, but he's just not there with it yet.
Who do you think is most improved right now?
Most improved. Oh, good question.
Most improved in the team?
Yeah.
Honestly, it's not going to make any sense because he was on the team last year. I'm over the moon with Malcolm Brogdon. Yeah. I've never seen him shoot so well in this. And I've always been a big fan since he was in Milwaukee when he won Rookie of the Year over there. And he's a really good player. Was it Milwaukee or Indiana? It might be. I think it was Milwaukee.
Milwaukee. It was Milwaukee. Yeah.
And then he went to Indiana. But yeah, I think he has really taken a step forward. One, I think he's right now close to top of 6th man of the a year award, which is what the Celtics really definitely need. But I think it's a really big step for him, the way he's playing and the way he's just adjusted to the role. So that would be my pick.
Yeah, I would say probably Kornet, to be honest with you, because I actually think Kornet has. He got so many garbage minutes last year you wouldn't really notice, but he had it. You could kind of see that he had it when he was in there, even though they were garbage minutes. And then this year, I mean, you think about, we don't have Robert Williams on this team yet. I mean, he hasn't played, and Kornet has done a really admirable job at filling in for him, and more than just like a warm body to fill the paint. I mean, the guy is, he's going up for dunks. He's playing pretty good defense. I mean, as good a defense as a 7'2" guy can play, who's not that athletic. I mean, he's not that athletic guy.
He's also got his own defense named after him at this point.
Yes, the Kornet contest.
Yes. The Kornet closeout, which is actually not something he actually doesn't close out. He just jumps up because he's so freaking tall. And he just jumps up from basically not even outside of the paint. And then someone's taking a 3, and it's the Kornet closeout.
Well, it's funny you bring up
so funny.
Rob Williams, because they were asking about him the other day, and they started with the Patriots day to day. Nobody wants to say anything yet, so everybody's thinking that he might be closer than he actually is. That is a huge point, Adam. And then the other thing, we talked about this at the top of the season. If they play really well, Ime isn't a story, right?
Yeah.
If they were terrible right now, Ime would be every press conference to be peppering. It is almost eerie how that has disappeared. And not that, I mean, I don't know what's going on behind the scenes. I'm intrigued because the whole thing, Brooklyn was a question mark, and then it fell, whatever happened. They decided it wasn't a fit for them, or whatever the case may be. I don't know. I'm just intrigued at what's going on behind the scenes. What are we going to hear? What really happened? If we ever hear what really happened. And after the suspension is over, which apparently is for a full season, right? Yeah. Are they going to just keep this? I mean, I love that it's not a story. Don't get me wrong. I thought somebody would say Derek White because I love his hair so much. Because I feel like he's been playing really well. I don't know.
Yes, he's played well this year. Yeah,
I'm hyper annoyed at the West Coast trips. I hate the Red Sox on the West Coast. The Celtics on the West Coast kill me. But an absolute pleasure. I'm enjoying so much that LeBron is running out of excuses. He's got a lot of talent around him, and don't get me wrong. Celtics are a better team. But there's just always that fear factor when it's LeBron because he's such an X factor. He's going to find some way to ruin your friggin' night, And it's just such a pleasure to watch him lose because he's just such a crybaby. He gets all the calls. I know it sounds very parochial to say that. He does 4,000%. And I just love watching him lose,
Yeah, they should have won that game last night, to be honest with you. I mean, I'm glad that the Celtics did, obviously, and the Celtics fought back well, but even at the end, Anthony Davis had 2 free throws that would have iced it, and he missed the 2 free throws. So, they really should have won that game, and it actually brings me more joy that they should have won it and they didn't win it.
Yes.
Because LeBron, he walks off the court and he's like, God damn, I can't get a win right now. I mean, because think about the horrifying stories we would have been hearing all day today. Oh, LeBron and the Lakers beat the #1 team in the NBA, the Celtics.
Yep.
So, and it would have been so exhausting to listen to. So I'm very glad that they lost. But you're right. He's a complainer. He whines about everything. And they don't have it's not a very good team. I mean, they have 3 really good guys. They have a couple of role players, but they're not. I don't see them going deep into the playoffs. Personally.
Yeah, well, it's not cohesive.
Make the playoffs if it ended today anyway.
That's right. That's right.
What's that?
And Golden State would be the 10th. That would basically be the last team in the play-in. They would have a home court in the play-in. So, yeah.
Well, what are they? 2-11 on the road, Golden State? Something like that.
They're horrible. They're amazing at home. I'm looking forward to them coming to Boston.
That's what's amazing right now. How the worm has turned, and it used to be the Patriots. You were sort of like, I'm trying to think. What's the video game? Oh God, Scotty will help me with this. The video game where you were the soldier, and the doing, and the question mark would be over your head when it happened. Right? It's almost like a Scooby-Doo moment when the Patriots used back in the day. The Patriots lost. It was like, what just happened? Now it's the Celtics or the Bruins.
Right.
Like you're like, how dare you lose, right? And they have these really long seasons. They keep figuring it out. Even the other night, it was in a shootout, which Janina hates the shootout. I'm like, it's better than a tie. Roger Goodell, it's better than a tie. Like if they don't figure that out in the competition committee in the offseason, the ties in the NFL are so
field goal
stupid.
Kickoff.
So stupid.
It doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
Like I don't have a problem with them doing the overtime period, but then if no one scored, go to the college rules. That's it.
Yep.
Go to the college rules. If no one scored after the overtime, go to the college rules and figure it out that way.
Yep.
Because the ties it's
really not great at all. Yeah.
I'm looking forward to Christmas Day. I always look for Christmas is so much fun because of just watching NBA all day, and there's actually NFL games as well. But this year, dude, Milwaukee, Celtics.
Oh,
I mean, 5 o'clock game, right?
Oh my God, that's the best Christmas present of all time.
I feel like you just probably finished 2 o'clock dinner, right? Maybe dessert's happening. That's fine. I'll take my pie in the living room. Phenomenal.
Oh no. Unfortunately, like I'm not there. Just everyone's gonna have to leave. Like I'm gonna be okay? Like, everyone out.
Well, I'll most likely be at Bentley Lane, so we'll figure it out. We'll figure it out.
It's going to be recording on Bentley Lane, right? Are you going to be recording it?
Sure. We'll have the microfiche ready to watch the next guy. Yeah. What is it?
I can't wait.
Officially Boxing Day, December 26th. Yeah, she'll be watching it on December 26th. Of course she will.
To me, that's the matchup of the 2 MVPs right now in the NBA. Like Giannis is averaging like 31, 13, and 5 or something ridiculous with 2 blocks. And obviously, we all know what Tatum's doing. So those 2 are, to me, the 2 MVP candidates right now. And just to see them on Christmas Day, that's like, I know they got like a 5-game home stretch right now, 5 or 6 games, and that's a part of it, or longer. I don't know. I'm looking at it now; it's like 7 or 8, maybe. But yeah, that's
7 games. Yeah, I think. Yeah,
7-game home stretch. That's gonna be amazing. Can't wait.
I know.
That's awesome.
You know what game they're probably going to lose is the game they play against the Rockets, though. Because if they win, the next day, and the Rockets are like super athletic and really fun to watch. But the Celtics will probably lose that game. If they beat the Bucks, they will probably lose to the Rockets. Would be my guess.
The Rockets are like the second worst team in the West.
No, I know they're terrible, but
they're the worst. Yeah.
I know we're gonna save the Red Sox deep dish pizza. We can wait till Rubber Shoes gets back for that. I do want to before Ava comes down, our executive producer. I'm sure she's on the way because we are nearing on the show clock. We are just about at 59 minutes, and heartbreaking. If you're not a fan, you missed some of the best post game press conferences ever. The great Mike Leach passed away, head coach of Mississippi State. Absolutely hysterical personality. College football is lost without somebody like him. Like people knew, and you would tee him up. You have to just go to the YouTubes and punch in Mike Leach. The on-field post game, a riot. And there was one, I forget who it was. Sideline reporter, female, goes up and asks him because her and her fiance are about to get married, and she says, "You have some really strong opinions about eloping." And they just won. His team is lighting the world on fire. The goalposts are running down the field. Girls running by with their shirts off. And he's like, you save so much money. I've told my kids if they're God bless him, so funny, so deadpan.
Yeah.
Just go look up and college football is lesser without him. Heartbreaking. Yeah. Apparently he had a history of a heart condition and succumbed. He was rushed to the hospital and did not survive. And if you need something to make you laugh, that guy was friggin' hysterical and a great coach. I mean, like he made his rounds. And Mississippi State, I don't know if they were destined for a bowl game or not. Was
he at Texas Tech?
No, he was at Mississippi State as of late. Am I losing my mind?
I'm just like his career though. Wasn't he at Texas Tech?
Oh, before that, yeah, he's sort of been here, there, and everywhere. But yeah, he was most recently at Mississippi State. And just Adam, I'm telling you, if you've never watched any Mike Leach, I
gotta go check it out.
So he's funny as hell. He's got one infamous press conference where he's talking about players not being into it. He goes, "You want to go out and hang out with your fat little girlfriend?" Like that's the quote. That's the big The guy was obviously a great football coach, a great football mind, absolutely hysterical, super deadpan, and it got to a point in his career where people were going to him with the question.
That's funny.
And they knew they would get him going. And the one look up eloping. Mike Leach on eloping, and the girls on the field, everybody's going crazy. And he's like, "Well, yeah, I'm a player." And she's like, "So I know I'm about to get married, and I know you have strong opinions about eloping." And he just goes on this diatribe, and it's magic.
Oh, I can't wait to watch it.
We're not. Right. I wanted to bring that up because we can talk about Zambo leaving and whatever the hell's going on at Fenway, we can talk about when Rubber Shoes gets back. But the great Mike Leach is gone, and it's a super sad day for college football.
One more thing that we have to just real quick touch on, and hopefully it's a really sad note. It's respected but sad note. The match. We talk about the match real quick before I get kicked off.
Great. I'm here for it. I'm here for it. Until your executive producer daughter comes downstairs. Until Amy releases the hounds. Until she releases the Kraken, we're good. Yeah.
Dude. First of all, talk about great television. I mean,
phenomenal. It was so good.
Amazing television.
So good. Yep.
So good. Just the personalities, like alone, like with Charles and JT going back and forth, like him and Thomas, just absolutely freaking amazing. I was disappointed because it was so short. Because Tiger,
they crushed them.
I mean, 10 holes. Yeah, 3 and 2, 10 holes.
They crushed them. Yeah,
and it was pretty well over. So yeah, it was freaking bad, but so much fun. So much fun to watch. It was nice to see Tiger. I love the setup. I love the nighttime thing. I thought that was really cool.
Super different, yeah.
It was different. I really enjoyed it. I thought that was really cool. I just enjoyed also the legitimacy and how much fun they all had.
Yeah.
Right? Like Rory and Tiger giving like Spieth and Thomas shit and back and forth. You know what I mean? Just and like, did you see the post game? Or the post-match, I should say, the interview at the end where he's like, Spieth's like, the best part of all of this is that Tiger has to stand here and listen to all of it when he would rather be doing anything else at this point.
1,000%. 1,000%.
And they look over, they pan to him, and he's got a big smile, and he goes, "It's true."
Yep.
Like it's true.
Yep. Well, there's somewhere on social media. I don't know if they did a TikTok or if like an Insta story or something. It's Spieth and JT. And they come across verbally as if they're a little, but it's clearly right after. So I don't think they're dipping into anything yet. But they're like, Rory and Tiger, what happened? Like they lean into it. Like, how did you lose to us? Like it's so well done because the little brothers kicked their ass, right? You're number one in the world, the greatest golfer of all time. Well, not of all time, but in the story on Mount Rushmore. And those two came and stole their cheese. It was really well done. And yeah, Saturday night under the lights, and I think what made it even better was it was 4 golfers. It wasn't a couple of people, like it wasn't a couple of quarterbacks and 2 golfers, and they've had Steph Curry, which is all of that is good. I'm going to throw this out there. I would love to see, because they're both really good, I would love to see Nance and Romo split up with 2 golfers. Because Romo's good. Nance has like golf in his backyard, right?
Right.
I mean, obviously, yeah.
So Rubber Shoes can't complain about this match then, because remember last year he was complaining that he could go out on any golf course with Brady and probably he's just another golfer. He's not that great. And remember that last year?
Yep.
Yeah. So he can't really complain about that.
I also love, because it happened again. I feel like it's happening all the time now. Like the basketball and hockey gods are listening. The Celtics and the Bruins. Like,
yes.
Every
night.
If Jeremy Jacobs could do one thing, I would like him to put the parquet above the ice and have them playing in the same building at the same time.
That would be a magical
Rubber Shoes
night.
will just light himself on fire. And the great thing in the chat the other night was the fact that Rubber Shoes stormed off and went to bed.
When you saw, like, I sent that picture, and I'm like, "This is how you do it."
Yeah,
and
this is how you do it. 2 screens.
Yeah,
Not that hard.
Scotty's got a projector going. He's got all the things going. Of course, yeah,
of course. That's how I do it. Like even on Sundays, I have, like, if the Pats are on, I have the red zone on the projector. So I got the red zone going on the projector, and then the Pats game, just regular Pats game.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah, yeah.
The projector gets a lot of use. Use. So, Roku stick, baby. Oh. But yeah, the match was awesome. Really loved it. Had a great time with it. I thought it was a lot of fun. I'm looking forward to the next one they do. It's going to be great.
I couldn't agree more. Are we wrapped? We think we're good.
I think we're good.
Okay. Well, I love that you made it through. If anybody hasn't noticed, Adam started smoking this week, so his throat is catching up with the.
I went from 0 cigarettes to 10 packs a day.
What did our dear friend Dugan will love this? Remember our dear listener, Mrs. Cloutier?
Yes.
What was she? Was she smoking? What did she? She used to tell us when she'd call the radio station, she was smoking A's. Like, what was it? Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then she would tell us about going to get her beautiful black boots.
Yeah, but she was
red shoe on.
Like, I don't know if she was ripping Pall Malls or Virginia Slims or like spirits. Yeah.
She definitely did. She definitely did.
Spirit cigarettes for people that want cancer later, much later. Yeah. It's almost like smoking a clove. Is it, Barbara? Yeah. Yeah. Your voice sounds great. Your face looks like a catcher's mitt, but your voice sounds great. Yeah. She's a little leathered. Anyway, for Uncle Dukes and for Adam and myself, Tyler's on assignment. Rubber Shoes is
who knows?
Probably going to watch the microfiche and fire all of us. That's fine. We'll be back next week. We appreciate you hanging out with us. Please subscribe, like, share, and comment. It's all at atbshow.com. Rubber Shoes will be back in your grill tomorrow morning, usually in the 6:59 to 7:01 area is when he's dropping all of his knowledge on the Rubber Shoes wrap up and rant. And that is always on he's got, that's everywhere. Like, that's Insta and the face space and all the things.
Okay, cool.
He's firing that all over the place. So for Rubber Shoes, for Tyler, and for and also our lovely wives who are active in the fantasy football. Is my wife's out? Amy's out.
Amy's
out.
In. No, Amy's
in. Amy's in. Mother Shoes is in.
Wait, Amy's in even though is she still pissed off about the draft or no?
Yes.
Was she pissed off?
Yes.
She yelled at me. I was like, I finished in first place. She's like, it doesn't count. Because you guys didn't know the draft.
Oh my god!
Take the win, Amy. Take the win.
She's in 4th, so it's just Amy and.
She's gonna send Ava down in a T-shirt that says "I'm playing in protest."
I'd provide. Like, this is usually what I'll be like. I don't know, Margot.
Hold it. Wait a minute, Barbara. Can you? I know we've had this conversation right over your shoulder, Scotty. Uncle Dukes, is that NBA Jams?
Yeah.
The fucking arcade game.
Yeah, the cabinet. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, I built that.
Why aren't we doing it live from his basement? What is going on?
And right next to that is Marvel vs. Capcom. I built 2 cabinets last February, I think. I put that in. Something like that. Yeah. I got a new one coming in next year. I'm going to be, I'm between Golden Tee and like a Ninja Turtle one that has like the four by. So
yes.
But most likely Golden Tee.
You need to send a picture of that. Can you send a picture of that?
Yeah. Absolutely.
That's cool.
It's phenomenal. Yeah. No, it's a lot of fun.
I love it. And there's a stool over there.
It's an NBA Jam stool.
Friendly reminder to the C-suite at Scotty's company: you're allowing him to work from home.
Yeah,
and this is what's happening, right? It's almost like that scene with Costanza on Seinfeld when he's in that office working on the Penske file.
That's right.
I moved it from this envelope over to this envelope. Very busy. It's my busy time of the year. Yeah. Oh my God! All right, boys. We will see everyone next week for Scotty and Adam and myself and the Rubber Shoes and the little shoes that are on assignment. Have a great week. We'll see you next week. and enjoy your families this holiday season. Because are you guys off? Like, what's happening? When does vacation start for everybody?
23rd for me.
I mean, it's all day for you every day, Scotty, according to the background. But yeah. When do you actually stop working, Scotty?
Yeah.
I'm always working.
You heard it here first and last. Have a great